Few days ago, I made a video about the importance of unique wallets that are used in specific game in order to predict the success of that game. So there are so many misconceptions actually when it comes to that, and I want to address some of them today. So my name is Željko and welcome to CryptoGrid channel. The video that I mentioned will be in the description below. Also, if you appreciate the content that I'm making, I appreciate if you consider subscribing as well. So let's go straight to the point. As I said, unique wallets and the number of transactions is really important, but there are some things that people often don't look up to. So it's a huge difference. For example, if you take some TCG game and you look at the number of cards that are traded in that game, as each of them being one transaction, and there is a huge difference if you create a game where you need to claim the 10 different things, and each of these claims is considered as a different transaction. Obviously, the second one will have much higher number, even though the real activity might not be that higher. So I actually want to show you some real life example. For example, if you go on Token Throw and you look at Gods Unchained and how many transactions there are, for example, you can see per week there is around 100k transactions, which is like 10x to the second game below it. And actually, all these transactions are real because all the things that are transacted, for example, like majority of them are cards. And if you go to the activity tab, you can see that the things that are traded are actually cards, and that there's like multiple cards traded pretty much every minute. And this pretty much shows the demand for this. While, for example, the another thing, I was doing some research on one project, it's called Revox, and if you see the number of transactions was insane. It was one of the top projects. Even at this ratio, you can see a huge decrease, but when you look at global rankings, it's pretty much still in the top 10 with a huge decrease. And for example, the reason why this project has so much transactions, for example, is like once you go to their app and once you want to do something, for example, if you click on analyze, you're spending the credits. This is a blockchain transaction. So pretty much each click here is one blockchain transaction. So obviously you will have much more of them. So whatever you click go, it's pretty much all of it. If you try to write some prompts, each of them is also counted as a blockchain transaction. So for one user, even if he uses this app just a bit, eventually they will end up with a lot of transactions, and they actually created an airdrop campaign where based on your activity you're going to receive rewards, right? So actually it incentivizes people to do more of these transactions and to pretty much show that the activity of the chain is much higher than that actually would be. And why are they doing that? Because the investors, the people, everybody is looking at this as one of the primary factors. So yeah, it's important factor, but you need to be very careful about it. And this is the reason why I tell people in a gaming niche that you actually want to play the games, because by playing the games you will actually see how the Web3 elements are implemented into it. Are these transactions real? Are people buying characters as NFTs because they really want them and they're looking to have that cosmetics aspects or that in-game benefits or something like that? Or it's just something that will create actually fake representation? Oh, this game is very popular and they're maybe launching some airdrop campaign, and now everybody's trying to extract value, farm these coins, and the game actually tried to use that in their advantage by pretty much doing everything as a separate transactions. And as I told you, for many of them it's real, and if you check activity you can see these are real prices. There is no wash trading or something similar, which means that the people that obviously created the game, that they believe into it because they don't need to fake anything. While many games that are actually currently in the market, I don't want to name anyone, but they're unsure about their vision, that the people are actually interested in playing it in a long term, so they are trying to pivot and attract investors pretty much based on a fake data, and this is obviously not healthy for a long-term perspective of that game. And now if we look at the Bitcoin dominance, this is even the reason why the Bitcoin dominance is consistently rising, because majority of the altcoins doesn't have its utility and the purpose. And I think the gaming sector will change that in the future, and we can see like what Autogrid did and some other games recently. And I think this is the part of the industry that will be growing and that has a real utility, especially I think in a more in the NFT space than when it comes to the creating tokens and stuff like that. And that's why some of the new games decided to go coinless, which actually makes sense because usually, like, if you create a coin, you need the demand to consistently increase to preserve the token price, and that's sometimes not easy thing to do. With NFTs, you gain the huge advantages of a Web3 where you have ownership of your own asset and you don't have pretty much any disadvantages. And this actually shows that the game creator is interested in users because for them, obviously, it's better to take profits on a primary sales than from users trading with each other, where they take maybe 5, 10, or even smaller cut from the fees of these users trading between each other. So always take a look at the activity and check if these transactions are real. Try out the game, see what is counted as a transaction. Is it like if you verify 10 quests, does each of that count as a transaction or no? The funny thing for transactions is this what I wanted to show you that Jesus Martinez posted. You can see one transaction, sign request, play 2 seconds, another transaction, sign in request, another transaction. Well, you got the point. Like, there's more transactions than gameplay, and yeah, in the future, obviously, these things will be handled in a backend, but still, this pretty much shows where the number of transactions won't matter, for example. So, I hope that you liked the video. Thank you for staying until the end. Stay strong and healthy. Bye.